This video is brought to you by Law Excellence IAS Academy.
Dear students, good morning. Let us start the discussion on today's newspaper, that is 10th April 2019. The first article, right to criticize. You know that Article 19 1A of the Constitution consists of freedom of speech and expression. It means your opinions, views can be expressed freely without any fear or fervor. So, right to criticize is actually integral to this. This right to criticize, a right to freedom of speech and expression, itself has reasonable restrictions. We can talk about three things which are controversial among these reasonable restrictions. One is defamation. You know, in India, defamation is still a criminal punishment. It attracts criminal punishment. And contempt. Contempt of court is punishable. And any scandalization of a judge or a court for his judgment can lead to criminal punishment. And the next is sedition charges. You have National Security Act and IPC. Any kind of raising intolerance towards the state or indictment to violence can attract the sedition charges. So here, criticizing the state, can it attract the sedition charges? Remember carefully, there is a doctrine over here that is called imminent lawless action. So what is meant by this imminent lawless action? If your act of speech or anything immediately leading to violence, so there has to be cause-effect relationship between your speech and violence on the ground, then only it can be a sedition. So in this case, the governments went extra liberal, and any criticism of the government, police have kept the sedition charges. Let's take, in Tamil Nadu, Jayalalitha government has given a singer Kovalan sedition charges. And similarly, in the case of Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, even in Telangana, the sedition charges have become more a norm for any criticism of the government. In Manipur, there is one such a case, that is Kishore Chandra Wangkegam. In this case, what is being stated is, Manipur High Court is unequivocal, stating that any criticism of the government, if it do not leads to imminent violence, it cannot be called as sedition. So here, remember this judgment of Supreme Court in Kedarnath Singh versus State of Bihar. The Supreme Court has clearly stated that criticism of government is not sedition. So what are my carry home points? The contempt, defamation and sedition charges. These are restricting the fundamental rights of the citizens. The state liberally using the sedition charges to silence the people is not in the spirit of liberal democracy. That is what my take home point is. Is there a problem with 10% quota? So you know, 103rd Constitutional Amendment Act has provided reservations to economically backward classes. So how is this defined? Income of the family shall be less than 8 lakh rupees. Do not possess an agricultural land of more than 5 acres. These are eligible for this quota. So in this article, any reservation has to be given if they are underrepresented, either in education or in the employment. So the Constitution with regard to socially and educationally backward classes clearly states that the reservations in jobs have to be provided if they are underrepresented. So the word which they are analyzing is underrepresentation. So in this case, EBCs, scheduled caste, scheduled tribes and backward classes, these two groups are analyzed for their underrepresentation. What this author concludes is EBCs, these are well represented beyond their percentage of the population in most of the educational institutions. Here for the study, they took the institutions which are ranked under National Institute of Ranking Framework, NIRF, by Ministry of HRD. So the institutions which are ranked under this, these are taken, the number of EBC students, how much is the percentage, and what is their total percentage in the population. By this they calculated underrepresentation. So their conclusion is this: the people from the economically backward classes are not underrepresented in the educational institutions. On the other hand, SC, ST, OBC population, in spite of the reservations for these many decades, they are still underrepresented in the educational institutions. This is the point they want to convey. Brexit and fragility of the UK. Now, UK, it consists of four regions. One is Britain, Wales, Scotland, and Northern Ireland. So you know that there was a huge civil war in the Ireland, and this Ireland was broken into Northern Ireland, which is part of UK now, and Republic of Ireland, which is an independent country. This Northern Ireland is Protestant dominant, Republic of Ireland is Catholic dominant. So, the Brexit, when referendum was held, the Britain voted in favor of Brexit, but it is not in the case of Scotland and Ireland. And Wales and Britain, they have strong matrimonial, patrimonial relations. But it is not the case with Scotland and Northern Ireland. Why did the Scotland go into UK in the first place? In that 18th century, the Britain was a powerful force. So from the might of the Britain, the Scotland has gained a lot of business opportunities. But it was never the case with the Ireland. Ireland was seen with colonial mentality by the Britain. So today, there is a clear divide in the Brexit voting. So once the Brexit happens, then automatically it's going to be against the interests of Scotland and Ireland. Even today they argue in favor of remaining with the European Union. So the Scotland already went for a referendum. In that referendum, the people who want to retain in UK has won. Again, there is a demand for another referendum. So the Brexit, can it lead to this kind of separatist tendencies from UK by the Scotland? Now, Northern Ireland. So between Northern Ireland and Republic of Ireland, the existence of customs union or exists both being part of European Union, the boundaries are almost became irrelevant. Now, once UK exists from European Union, there is supposed to be a clear boundary between Northern Ireland and Republic of Ireland. So, to what extent it is acceptable to the people of Northern Ireland is a question. So, here the author says that the Brexit, is it breaking down the UK itself? Does it have long-term consequences to the UK itself? That is what is the essence of this article. The next is blinkers on. So this article is about the present BJP manifesto. What is the purpose of a manifesto? It is kind of a political communication of a party to the people. So Congress manifesto has majorly focused on welfare and wealth. Welfare through Nyai and creation of wealth through privatization and raising of the opportunities through economic growth. That was the Congress strategy. Let us see the BJP. The BJP by and large, it is focused on nationalism. It means it is speaking about conducting national register for citizens across India. Already in Assam, there were many issues surrounding it. Now BJP wants to expand it throughout into the country. And the second, it talks about majoritarianism indirectly. It is ready to offer the citizenship to the people who are facing persecution across our neighbors. So either this particular thing is available not for the Muslims or Christians. This is available for the Sikhs, Hindus, Jains, Buddhists, etc. So it means there is a clear demarcation and it gives a majoritarian tone. And the second, in the nationalist perspective itself, it talks about mainstreaming of the people of Northeast and the Jammu and Kashmir. So, Article 370 and 371, these are majorly towards providing some special provisions for protection of the culture and identity of the Northeast and Jammu and Kashmir. 370 for Jammu and Kashmir, 371 for most of the states in the Northeast. So, mainstreaming means doing away with this special status or special provisions? That is a major question over here. And the next is, with regard to the politics, it wants to pursue to achieve the majority on its own. In the last Lok Sabha, it was able to do that. So in this Lok Sabha, it may not be possible, but it clearly expressed that it is not against, or else it is against coalition politics in the long run. So it means it is interested in bringing in two-party system in the country rather than bringing in coalition politics in the long run. And also, the Modi's name is vividly used, and most important program of his, that is demonetization, on this it is silent. So these are the things which we need to understand. Closure on cynicism. You know that with regard to EVMs, the major complaint is tampering. So many a times election commission has thrown open challenges, but no political party took the challenge. But still these political parties are complaining about tampering. So our EVMs are not network connected. So there is a little chance they can be hacked. And the chip which is being placed in the EVMs is one-time programmable chip. It's a burnt out chip. It means that if the chip is tampered, it becomes useless and non-functional. Third, there is randomization. Which EVM goes where? No one knows till the last minute. So in this context, EVM, the tampering is almost impossible. So these accusations are more political rather than rational criteria. But however, to remove these doubts, VVPATs are being brought in now. So these voter verifiable paper audit trials, they will display the image of the party which you have voted for 7 seconds, and a slip will fall in that particular box. So later these boxes can be counted as and when necessary. As of now, the Election Commission stated that it will randomly count one VVPAT per constituency. Then the opposition political parties went to Supreme Court on this, and Supreme Court stated that 5 VVPAT boxes have to be counted for each constituency. It means that the chances of accuracy are going to be further increased because of this. So finally, this cynicism is expected to die once this comes into force. And the next, remittances. What are remittances? The foreign currency which is being given by the people of Indian origin or NRI staying abroad to the people living in India. It means if your sister or anyone living in USA or Saudi, if they are sending dollars for your consumption, not for investment, for your consumption in the local economy, those are called remittances. If they keep that money in buying certain bonds or NRI investments, they are not remittances. So these remittances becomes the current account, part of the current account. The country which is receiving the largest amount of remittances, that is India. After India, it is China, followed by Mexico. So in India, where these remittances are majorly coming from, it is not from West, it is from Gulf. So UAE is the destination from where we are getting the highest remittances, followed by United States of America, followed by Saudi Arabia. It clearly shows why there has to be stability in Gulf region for our economic prosperity. Dedicate your first vote to armed forces, Modi tells young voters. You know there is something called model code of conduct. Government and its establishment shall not be polarized or cannot be used for emotional appeal of vote gathering. Either it is religious structures or religion, or for that matter institutions of governance, or for that matter the military establishments which are of national pride. All these cannot be used as part of the model code of conduct. So Prime Minister himself was accused of violating the model code of conduct in spirit when he declared this Shakti mission, where India is able to hit a satellite, an anti-satellite missile. So the model code of conduct is being violated by the Prime Minister in spirit. What is the message that is being sent to the country? That is what is being questioned. And then IMF forecasts dip in global growth in 2019. You know that World Economic Outlook, this is given by IMF every year. So this year it says that the global economic growth is expected to come down from 3.6% to 3.3%. What are the reasons? You know, the trade war is all-time high between USA and China. And there are protectionist measures from President Trump, which is making trade with the US almost difficult for most of the countries. It is not just with China, even with India that is the case. If USA starts protectionist measures, it will have a dynamo effect or ripple effect. Automatically, European Union, everyone starts the same. That creates more barriers for trade. If the barriers for trade have increased, the production decreases, global growth is expected to fall. And the second is, two important emerging economies, that is Turkey and Argentina, they are facing a huge economic crisis. And with regard to Western world, especially European countries and USA, the monetary policy is going to be normalized. Till now, the monetary policy is liberal. It means the interest rates are low. So when it is getting normalized, it means interest rates are expected to increase. As interest rates increase, the cost of the capital will increase. As the cost of capital will increase, the production costs will go up and consumption will come down. Ultimately, raised interest rates is not in the good interest of the business. So what is the take-home point? The World Economic Outlook report clearly states that the global growth is expected to be decreased in this year. On the other hand, Indian economic growth is expected to go up. The reason is in GST is slowly getting or sinking with the Indian business. It means the tax reforms are expected to show the outcomes, and Indian economy by and large has come out of this demonetization effect. So the structural reforms have to be taken forward, and the NPAs are the greatest worry for India. If these are being rectified and if you're able to bring in land reforms, labor reforms, etc., India's growth is expected to further run. And more or less people do not have the doubts about the political stability, especially the foreign investors. In the last week, we saw that the foreign investments are increasing in India. So these are the articles for today. And finally, thank you very much. Have a good day. All the best.